The world watched in disbelief as Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022. This act of aggression shattered decades of relative peace in Europe. After over a year of fighting, the situation remains tense and unpredictable. Russian forces initially aimed for a swift takeover of Ukraine. However, they encountered fierce resistance from the Ukrainian people. The conflict has evolved into a grinding war of attrition. The international community condemned Russia's actions, imposing severe economic sanctions. The conflict has had a devastating impact on Ukraine, resulting in thousands of civilian casualties. Millions of Ukrainians are internally displaced or seeking refuge in neighboring countries. The fighting in Ukraine is now largely concentrated in the eastern Donbas region, where Russian-backed separatists have been active since 2014. The battle for Donbas is a brutal and attritional struggle, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Russian forces are employing their superior firepower, including artillery and air power, to try and overwhelm Ukrainian defenses. However, Ukrainian troops, bolstered by Western weapon systems, are putting up a determined resistance. The fighting in Donbas is characterized by trench warfare reminiscent of World War I. Gains are often measured in meters and the front lines are constantly shifting. The human cost of this conflict is immeasurable, with soldiers on both sides facing unimaginable conditions. The outcome of the battle for Donbas could prove decisive in shaping the future of Ukraine. A Russian victory would give them control over a strategically important region and potentially pave the way for further advances. However, a Ukrainian victory would be a major setback for Russia and could force them to reconsider their war aims. The Russia-Ukraine war has exposed deep divisions within the international community. The United States and its NATO allies have provided Ukraine with billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid. They have also imposed unprecedented sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy and key individuals. However, other countries, particularly in the global south, have been more reluctant to condemn Russia's actions. Some have historical ties to Moscow, while others are wary of becoming embroiled in a conflict between great powers. This division has played out at the United Nations, where Russia has used its veto power to block resolutions condemning its invasion. The conflict has also highlighted the limitations of international institutions in responding to crises involving permanent members of the UN Security Council. The war has forced countries to reassess their relationships with both Russia and the West. Some, like Finland and Sweden, have abandoned their long-standing neutrality and applied to join NATO. Others are seeking to balance their interests, maintaining ties with Moscow while also providing some support to Ukraine. One of the more surprising developments in the war has been the role played by Elon Musk's SpaceX and its Starlink satellite internet service. Shortly after Russia's invasion, the Ukrainian government requested access to Starlink terminals, which provide high-speed internet access from space. Musk responded quickly, sending thousands of Starlink terminals to Ukraine. These terminals have proven invaluable to the Ukrainian military, allowing them to communicate securely and maintain internet access, even in areas where traditional infrastructure has been destroyed. Starlink has also been vital for Ukrainian civilians, allowing them to stay connected with loved ones and access vital information. The service has been credited with saving lives by enabling people to call for help and coordinate evacuations. However, Musk's involvement in the conflict has not been without controversy. He has faced criticism for his suggestions for a negotiated settlement, which some have seen as being too favorable to Russia. Despite the controversy, there is no doubt that Starlink has had a significant impact on the war, highlighting the increasing role of technology in modern conflict. The high cost of war, Russian casualties and limited gains. Despite its military superiority on paper, Russia has struggled to achieve its objectives in Ukraine. The invasion has exposed weaknesses in Russian military planning and capabilities. The Russian military has suffered heavy casualties, with estimates ranging from tens of thousands to over 100,000 killed and wounded. While Russia has captured territory in southern and eastern Ukraine, its gains have been limited and come at a high cost. The Ukrainian military has proven to be a formidable opponent, effectively utilizing Western-supplied weapons and employing innovative tactics. The high casualty rate and slow progress have raised questions about the sustainability of Russia's war effort. The economic sanctions imposed by the West are also starting to bite. putting pressure on the Russian economy and limiting its ability to sustain a protracted conflict. The heavy losses and limited gains have also led to growing discontent within Russia itself. Public support for the war, while still significant, appears to be waning, and there have been isolated protests against the mobilization of reservists. Eyes in the sky drones reshape the battlefield. The war in Ukraine has demonstrated the transformative impact of drone technology on modern warfare. Both sides have deployed drones extensively for reconnaissance, targeting, and even direct attacks. Drones have become an indispensable tool, providing real-time battlefield awareness and allowing for precision strikes. Ukraine has effectively utilized Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones, which have proven to be highly effective against Russian armor and artillery positions. These relatively low-cost drones have inflicted significant casualties on Russian forces and become a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. Russia has also deployed its own drones, including the Orlan 10 reconnaissance drone and the Lancet loitering munition. These drones have been used to gather intelligence, direct artillery fire, and attack Ukrainian positions. The widespread use of drones has raised concerns about the ethical and legal implications of this technology. There are fears that the increasing automation of warfare could lead to a decrease in accountability and an increase in civilian casualties. Global consequences, economic shocks, and energy security. The war in Ukraine has sent shockwaves through the global economy. Russia is a major exporter of oil, natural gas, and wheat, and the conflict has disrupted global supply chains, leading to higher prices for energy and food. The war has also exposed Europe's reliance on Russian energy, and led to a scramble to secure alternative sources of energy. This has accelerated the transition to renewable energy sources, but also led to higher energy prices and concerns about potential shortages. The conflict will have a lasting impact on the global economy, highlighting the need for greater energy security and diversification of supply chains. Section 8, Justice and Accountability, Addressing War Crimes and Humanitarian Needs. The war in Ukraine has resulted in widespread human rights abuses and violations of international humanitarian law. There have been credible reports of war crimes committed by both sides, including indiscriminate attacks on civilians, extrajudicial killings, torture, and sexual violence. The International Criminal Court has opened an investigation into alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in Ukraine. The ICC prosecutor has described Ukraine as a crime scene and pledged to hold perpetrators accountable, regardless of their nationality. The United Nations has also established a commission of inquiry to investigate human rights violations in Ukraine. The commission will document violations, identify perpetrators, and make recommendations for accountability and justice. The humanitarian situation in Ukraine is dire. Millions of people have been displaced from their homes, and many are in need of food, water, shelter, and medical care. The international community has mobilized to provide humanitarian assistance, but the needs are immense. Section 9, A Fractured World, the conflict's impact on international relations. The war in Ukraine has reshaped alliances and deepened tensions. It has led to a new Cold War between Russia and the West. NATO has increased its military presence in Eastern Europe. Finland and Sweden have applied to join NATO. The conflict highlights China's growing global importance. China has strengthened its economic ties with Russia. The war has shown the limitations of the UN Security Council. Section 10, Ukrainian Resilience, the Strength of a Nation United. Despite the immense challenges they face, the Ukrainian people have shown incredible resilience and determination in the face of Russian aggression. Ukrainians from all walks of life have come together to defend their country, volunteering for the military, providing humanitarian assistance, and maintaining a spirit of defiance. The Ukrainian government, led by President Volodymyr Zelensky, has also demonstrated remarkable resilience and leadership. Zelensky, a former comedian, has become a global symbol of Ukrainian resistance, rallying his people and garnering international support. The Ukrainian people's resistance has been bolstered by a strong national identity and a deep-seated desire for freedom and democracy. The war has only strengthened their resolve to resist Russian aggression and build a better future for their country. The international community has been inspired by the courage and determination of the Ukrainian people. Their resilience is a testament to the human spirit and a reminder of the importance of defending freedom and democracy. Section 11, Looking Ahead, Uncertainties and Hopes for Peace. As the war in Ukraine grinds on, the path ahead remains uncertain. The possibility of a negotiated settlement remains elusive. Both sides have dug in, and there is little trust between them. Key issues like Ukraine's neutral status and the Donbas region remain unresolved. The international community continues to support Ukraine. Despite the challenges, there is always hope for peace.